Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out the Turbo Racing's TC04, or also known as the C75, in red. Now it also comes in black as well. It is a 1:76 scale two-wheel drive muscle car resembling the Dodge Challenger styling. It has a control distance of 30 meters, run time of 30 minutes per charge with a built-in but replaceable 3.7 volt 75 milliamp size battery. It has proportional steering, 3 speeds, and it weighs in at just 17.5 grams. Now the dimensions are 67.5 by 28.8 by 19.5 millimeters. So here's a little comparison with my C73. Now it is very similar to, but slightly bigger wheelbase than the C73. It has ground effect LED lights in red. Of course, the C73 has ground effect LED lights in green. Seems like the green is a little brighter. Now, on the bottom, we have the USB-C port for charging. We have the power sliding on and off switch. And there's 2 screws, one in the front and one in the rear, holding the front bumper assembly and the rear for the rear bumper assembly. Now you can loosen up just the front one and you can remove the shell from the chassis. Now here's the front bumper assembly with the screw, and all you do is just kind of lift up and pull out the chassis. And here is the shell. There's the light fixtures and the windshield assembly, the rear light fixture, and the rear bumper assembly here. Now, here's the 3.7 volt 75 milliamp size battery. This is good for about 30 minutes of run time. Here's the motor, and we have a couple of accessory ports. One of them is being used, the other one is open, and we also have some solder pads. I'm not sure what they are though. And on the other side we have the receiver antenna tucked in and glued in next to the battery, but you could probably free it from the glue. And here's all of the LED lights. Here's the ground effect lights. Here's the front headlights and the rear tail lights. Now the wheels actually have rubber tires on them, so they are super grippy, just like the T73. The wheels are basically identical to the T73. Now, they also give you 2 do-it-yourself customizable shells, and all of the light fixtures and the windshield assembly, as well as the spoiler, so you can customize your own stuff. You can paint them to whatever color and graphics you want, which is really, really nice. So here is the pistol grip remote controller. Now, it comes apart for easy storage and transportation. Simply push the locking lever and slide it out, and to put it back, simply slide it back in and it will lock into place, just like that. Now it will come pre-bound from the factory to the C75, but if it somehow unbinds for some reason, the binding process is very simple. Now on the bottom of the car there is a bind hole. There it says bind, and inside of that hole there is 2 contacts. Now they do give you a cotter pin to bridge the contacts, but actually a small screwdriver like this works a lot better, that conducts electricity. So bridge the two contacts and put the car into the binding mode. Now do this with the remote controller turned on and it will bind automatically. The protocol used is the FHSS protocol. So right now the C75 is bound to this remote controller. So I'm going to turn it off. Now the C73 is not. So turn it on, nothing happens. So what I'm going to do is bridge the contacts with my screwdriver. And if you do it correctly, the lights will turn off. There you go. The lights turned off. The ground effect lights turned off. Now it is bound to this remote controller. So I can turn the ground effect lights back on. Actually, if I turn both of them on at the same time, I can drive both cars at the same time with one remote control. Now the drive wheel has a thin foam around it for grip and comfort. And on the top we have the power switch. It is a 3-position power switch. Next we have the steering dual rates dial and the steering trim dial. We have here the throttle dual rates dial and the throttle trim dial. And up here we have the 3-position speed switch. We have 20%, 50%, and 100%. So speeds 1, 2, and 3 can be had. And here we have the steering reverse switch. On the side we have the channel 3 auxiliary push button switch. And next to it we have the channel 4 3-position sliding switch. On the bottom of the remote is the battery bay. Now there is a locking dial, so turn the dial clockwise quarter of a turn to remove the battery tray. It slides out and it will take 4 AAA size batteries. Now slide it right back in, put it back. There we go. And turn that dial counterclockwise quarter of a turn to lock it into place. The remote controller also has a Type-C receptacle built in, so slide the button on the bottom and the receptacle will pop up just like that. So you can charge the car with the remote controller or use the provided USB to Type-C charge cable. So let's pop this up and grab the car and plug it in. There. Now you see that little red light? That means it is charging. Now once it is fully charged, it will turn off. Now while it is charging, the power switch on the remote controller can be set to the mid position to turn on an LED light that is right here. So putting it into the mid position, and there you go, an LED light has turned on. Now you can change the color of this LED light by short pressing the channel 3 button. Short press changes color to various different colors, and to the off position as well. Now long press the channel 3 button for a slow glow effect. You can still change colors and have the slow glow effect on all of the colors. Pretty cool, huh? Now this LED light will turn off once the vehicle's battery is fully charged as well. So if you leave it somewhere like this and it's kind of dark, you can see the light glowing on and off, which is pretty cool. So you can turn on and off the ground effect lights with the channel 3 button on the remote controller. You can turn off the headlights and the tail lights by sliding the channel 4 button to the left position and back to the mid position. Oops. You can make them flash by sliding the channel 4 button to the right position. And put it back in the mid position. Now the left rear signal lights will turn on with a left turn. And the right rear signal lights will turn on with a right turn. Now this is with the channel 4 button set to the mid position. Now throttle up and reverse once to stop, and the brake lights will flash. Nothing happens when it actually reverses. Alright, so here it is on the cutting board on the tabletop. So it's pretty slippery. A little obstacle course of a figure 8. And we are starting off in the 20% mode. And it is very controllable with slight pumping of the throttle and at times holding the throttle at minimum throttle. But when throttle is increased, it is kind of hard to control even in the low speed mode. Now with the throttle at 50% or speed number 2, and you can still control the car with slight pumping of the throttle and also holding it at the minimum level. But with increased throttle, the car is starting to get difficult to control. Now with the throttle at 100%, yeah, you can't control it. It is too fast. Okay, so here we are with speed number 3 or 100%. And surprisingly, you can still control the car, but you do feel the power, increased power, but you can still slow it down. But when throttle is increased, it is difficult to control. It starts to spin out, and there's just too much power. You will need a bigger playing field. So here I put the jumping ramps that the C81 truck came with. Now the C75 has just about the same specs as the C81. It can climb a 30-degree incline with ease. Alright, so here it is on the smoothest carpet or rug that I could find around the house. And as you can see, the RC car, even with rubber tires and although very grippy, is having a very tough time on the low profile carpet. Now here it is on the fabric racing track. First, we'll start off in the 20% speed, the low speed. Now in this speed, we can full throttle around the track and still have very good control. Now it is set to 50% speed, and you can still maneuver by pumping the throttle and still stay in control. But once you full throttle, yeah, it is a little bit uncontrollable. Okay, so here it is with 100% speed or speed number 3. It has lots of power, and by pumping the throttle, you can maneuver still yet with some control. But once you full throttle, there is no way you can stay on the track. This thing is just too powerful and too fast. It will go all over the place. As you can see here, I'm having a very hard time staying on the track. So one of the best surfaces to play is on semi-smooth concrete. Not too rough, not too smooth. Here you can have all the control in the 20% low speed mode. And you can full throttle all the time. It'll even go over and cross the concrete joints. Okay, so we're going to put it at 50% throttle. Now, you still have more speed, but still have very good control, even with full throttling all the way. And it jumps over the concrete joints effortlessly. All right, so now it is going to be set to 100% speed number 3. And here you can still full throttle this thing and still have very good control. However, it does spin out a little bit because the concrete surface is semi-smooth. It's kind of smooth. It's not as rough as sidewalks, but it is not so smooth like inside the garage. So it's kind of in between, and it's still doing a very good job. And there is no problem jumping over the concrete joint as well. So this would be what I would consider the best playing surface. So one of my favorite ways to enjoy even this small of an RC car is to put an all-in-one VTX on it. All it is an all-in-one VTX, a battery to power it up, and some poster putty to stick it. And with proportional steering, it is very easy to control the car in FPV. Now here is the C73 on the first run, FPV. Now it has less power than the C75 and the C81, but it still can be driven with the extra weight of the VTX and the battery. However, it can't cross the concrete joints very well. Next up is the C81. Now, this one is awesome. With bigger tires and the same size battery as the C75, it also can do 30-degree incline relatively easy, just like the C75. So it has lots of power and no problem carrying the extra weight. And finally, here is the C75. Now, even though it has the low profile styling like the C73, it is just as powerful as the C81 truck. Very easy to control around tight spaces, but still it has no problems crossing over the concrete joints. Oh yeah, this one is a lot better than the C73 in all aspects, in my opinion. So if you were thinking about getting the C73, I would advise you to get this one instead. It is a lot better all around. So with a controlled distance of 30 meters, which may not be much, but at this size, it is way more than what it needs. And with a driving time of 30 minutes on a single charge and with full proportional steering, it ensures excellent control and maneuverability making it a joy to navigate through sharp turns and corners, especially on semi-smooth concrete. Also, the Turbo Racing C75 has lots of power with its ability to handle a slope angle of up to 30 degrees, allowing for some adventurous racing on challenging terrains or making some jumps. Its sleek and modern design, along with its lightweight and compact build, adds to its portability and convenience for carrying around as well. However, sometimes it does flip over when crossing over large concrete joints. However, it is also a trooper, gets up and goes right away, no problems. So if you want to check it out for yourself, the link to the product is down below in the video description. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.